more removed and distant, whereas, as you know, hospitality is a lot of warmth and people connections. And so that's really what caused me to do that. And all of my experience for those 22 years of working as a GM, and it was not just for one hotel, I was really the assistant for the second hotel that was built. So yeah, I learned a lot, and that was my motivation and reason for getting into it for the hotel. Because when I built GuestChat, it was never intended to be happening after the booking. It was always supposed to be on the hotel website. But what ended up happening is no, it can. It has the ability, just like you and I are talking, to be
Yeah.
able to understand and cut down on a lot of the um, questions and even requests so that the easy questions are answered automatically. And if there are
Mhm.
any requests, now we have the ability to be able to route them to the right individual. So I think it's really important to be, I would say, nice. Now I know that you might not think that that's I mean, it's almost given that anybody who's going to be in the hospitality industry has to be nice. Yeah, of course, everybody goes to high tech, and that's a great one.
Yeah.
But um, I think the more regional ones that hotel associations put on, it's more personal.
Welcome back. It's time for another exciting episode of our podcast, Reshape Hospitality with Tech. I'm your host, Maria, and here is my co host, Kazim. Our guest today is Nima Anvar, the CEO of GuestChat. He will be sharing with us his incredible career journey and giving us the inside scoop on the hospitality world. Welcome, Nima.
Thank you. It's my pleasure. It's been a while to set this up, but I'm really glad to be here finally.
Could you tell us about your career background story and how did it start?
Well, my career was not at all intended to be in hospitality. My background is in the sciences. I have a bachelor's in biology and a master's in epidemiology. So we would have never expected me to be in hospitality. But after I got married, my wife's family was building their second hotel on the island of Grenada in the Caribbean, and I had just finished my master's degree, so I was eager to move on, and we moved to Grenada, and it became my job to actually run a hotel. So from 0 to 100 in overnight, really. And I remember my first experience. It was nighttime. These guests who were repeaters, who I didn't know, were very, very upset because they did not have the right bed set up. They had a king bed and they wanted two separate ones, and I had no idea what was going on and what to do, and I had to take care of them, and it was so stressful, but I did, and that was my first experience. And really, as a manager for a small hotel, you learn every aspect of that hotel, whether it's housekeeping, um, front desk, gardening, maintenance, every part of it. You have to get on top of it. So I learned, and I did it for 22 years. So yeah,
As mentioned by you that you did your bachelor's in science, I'm
yeah.
curious to know what inspired you to switch to the hospitality industry and keeping in mind what difficulties you faced throughout your journey.
Yeah, so what inspired me was my wife and my wife's family because it was an opportunity. Um, so I was, science tends to be a little more removed and distant, whereas, as you know, hospitality is a lot of warmth and people connections. And so that's really what caused me to do that. And all of my experience for those 22 years of working as a GM. And it was not just for one hotel, I was really the assistant for the second hotel that was built. So, yeah, I learned a lot, and that was my motivation and reason for getting into it.
Can you share any valuable lessons you learned from that phase?
You know, the job of a GM is to put out fires. Basically, there's always something going on that they have to deal with. If it's not an issue with a guest, it's an issue with the staff. If it's not an issue with staff, it's an issue with maintenance, something with billing, accounts, whatever it might be. And so I think a GM has to be very, very even keeled, um, be able to handle all the ups and downs without making such grand swings, if you will, because otherwise it could really cause a lot of emotional problems for you and your guests.
Nima, I wanted to ask you about your company, which is GuestChat. How did you come with the idea, and who's the target audience? The brands or boutique hotels?
Yeah, so guest chat was an idea that I came up with during the pandemic, just slightly before the pandemic. I was looking into the use of chat, and I'd looked at several companies that were doing it, and I thought it was really brilliant. I mean, the premise behind chat for hotels is that when people go to a hotel website, they have questions. Now, some people, not everybody, but some people want those answers quickly, and they're going to go to the chatbot to get it answered. That was really the beginning of guest chat, and we'll talk more about the details, but um, that's where it started. And who we target is the independent market. They whether if they're a chain, they're not necessarily a brand name chain. They're an independent, lesser
Mhm.
known, but they want to use technology in their favor, basically, to have an advantage. And that's who our market is.
Talking about your company, can you provide some examples of how GuestChat has enhanced operational efficiency for hotels?
Yeah. So the first of all, the one thing that's really important to note is that never in the history of humanity did human beings sit on website and answer questions. Websites were there, and you either found your question or you didn't. So these chatbots don't take any jobs away. That's the first thing. If anything,
Mhm.
they help get somebody to at least get an answer, if not encourage them to book direct. That's one thing. But the value beyond that became saving time for staff who are overwhelmed with too much work. And if they have to answer those same questions over and over in email form, you have a lot of trouble on your hands. So taking that pressure off of the front desk staff was really job number one. Now, as we get this new development with ChatGPT, it changed everything in terms of the value proposition for the hotel. Because when I built Guest Chat, it was
Mhm.
never intended to be happening after the booking. It was always
Mhm.
supposed to be on the hotel website. But what ended up happening is okay, and by the way, why? Because I didn't believe that the chatbot would be able to effectively answer questions and take care of problems inside the hotel. And for that matter, even after the guest has gone. But now I see no, it can. It has the ability, just like you and I are talking, to be
Yeah.
able to understand and cut down on a lot of the um, questions and even requests so that the easy questions are answered automatically. And if there are
Mhm.
any requests, now we have the ability to be able to route them to the right individual and take care of their needs, give a very high quality service, and be able to also, and this is the other value, if let's say somebody went to Expedia, found the booking for your hotel, made it, or for that matter, booking.com, Trivago, wherever. Now, as you know, that guest is not yours, it's their guest. And that type
Mhm.
of guest is probably more likely to go back again and book that way again. Now, what do, you don't have that connection with them. You don't have that relationship. You don't even have their email address. But now imagine that person comes in the room, they have a QR code, and they are shown this thing that allows them to communicate. They need towels in the room, or they want to find out where the best places are for a dinner. The moment they connect, now it's the hotel's guest because now you have that guest long after they're gone. And not only can you ask for a review, but you can make offers to them. You can ask them to come back. And now they may or may not go back to Expedia. But the bottom line is you have them. They are tethered to the hotel. And this is incredible value for the hotel. So that's the premise.
One more thing I'm interested to know after sharing your industry experiences and looking towards the future, what are your predictions for the next big trends in hotel technology and opportunity you see in the industry?
I think yeah, I think an opportunity in this industry would be to unify some things. The technology landscape is so fragmented that it is ripe for disruption when it comes to um, unifying some of these component parts. Right now, I can tell you I'm in it, you know, neck deep, where trying to integrate with one tech versus another tech is just so difficult. And I think that, and there are some people who are really working on this, but there's so much variation and differences, and it's all being done sort of, you know, from a using APIs, but some things just don't work. They take so much longer to do. Um, I think that that's an opportunity. And if you combine that with AI, that could be really, really powerful. I think that's a way to go. If you're able to develop a tech stack that is interchangeable and very easily, um, replaceable, but at the same time augmented by AI, that's the way to go. And I think there's some possibilities there in the future.
You have highlighted an essential features on the future technology, which is AI, and the opportunities you have shared for this industry are much appreciated. Can you talk about the people who influence and encourage you in your professional journey? It would be great if you could share the name with us.
Yeah, there are many people out there who have helped us. The first and really most influential in the industry is David Malili from Gain Advisors. David is has been a mentor um, really since I started this at the beginning of the pandemic. He's been keeping tabs on us, and then we started working together formally. So the good people at Gain Advisors, Jason Amanis and Noelani. I don't want to just go on and on about all
Mhm.
because there's several of them, but they are wonderful and they have really changed the way we look at this. In terms of other mentors, um, I have others who are, uh, I would say, more from an internal perspective. They guide us in terms of policy. Jody Brown, Eric Zetaner. These are people who are, how should I say, they're the unsung heroes because you would never heard of them, but they know business and they know hospitality. So there are many others that I can't think of right now, but these are the main ones who are helping us along.
Is there any advice you receive from these people that they have played a big role in shaping your career decisions? Can you share with us?
Yeah, I mean, the first thing that they were able to help us with was setting the right price because, for us, pricing was an issue at that time when we started, and we've managed to get ourselves in the right place for the market. I think there were issues regarding marketing, and that was really really important. We now have a very clear point of view for our company, and they were able to set that for us. Um, and also from a sales perspective, they have made it very clear as to our sales process and where we start at, how we make the offering, and how we negotiate. And so that's been really really helpful to us.
As you noticed that with the digital transformation in the industry, What skills and qualities do you think young professionals need, and what advice would you give them?
So I think it's really important to be, I would say, nice. Now I know that you might not think that that's I mean, it's almost given that anybody who's going to be in the hospitality industry has to be nice. But the truth of the matter is, this is not as easy as you think it is because um, when you have a lot of experiences over a long period of time, you end up getting a little bit, how should I say, um, jaded. That's the best way I can describe it. And you end up becoming a little bit hardened. But an absolute requisite, if you're going to be good at this, you got to have to like people and you're going to have to be nice. And I didn't
Mhm.
even say kind. You don't necessarily have to be kind. Kind would be a bonus, but you have to be
Yeah.
nice. And when we in our own property are looking for new staff, when we're interviewing, we're always looking for um, people who are going to be nice at the beginning. And nice, along with nice comes a lot of other things. But if you can't be nice, man, consider another industry.
I completely agree with your this statement, especially with the word nice. Recently, you participated in the Hotel and Resort Innovation Expo in London. So, how was your experience?
It was good. It was really, really good. They are at another level when it comes to technology incorporation.
Mhm.
I'd like to say that probably Europe is a little bit ahead in that regards. Um, I and I think that that's it's good because it causes us to really consider, some of the trends that they're setting. Um, very, very positive. Everybody's, starting to employ AI and chat capability for hotels. So I'm really happy.
Are there any hospitality exhibitions and conferences that you participated or visited in the USA? Can you name them?
Yeah, I was just recently in Miami for the Chief Conference. Um, this was a more regional one, but I tend to like the regional hospitality conferences as opposed to the very, very large ones, just because you get a more personal connection with the people who are coming. It's a little bit
Mhm.
more cozy. So yeah, of course, everybody goes to high tech, and that's a great one.
Yeah.
But um, I think the more regional ones that hotel associations put on, it's more personal.
Everyone love to participate and visit in the high tech. I always ask this question for my guests about their hobbies and interests, and now it's your turn. Apart from work, how do you manage to spend your time with your family and friends?
Well, you know, I am working too hard. I'll be very honest with you. Um,
Okay.
there was a 2 days for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
I had not left the office for the entire day, all day. 2 days back to
Don't
back, just
tell
kind of
me.
bang boom. And so, uh, I do manage at night to spend some time with the family,
Mm-hmm.
and get to watch some movies and everything. But I used to play the guitar.
Oh, wow, that's nice.
Yeah, yeah. But unfortunately, these days, I'll be lucky if I can just listen to some music in the background. I'm
Mm-hmm.
just working very hard.
Nima, first things first, hospitality has always been about that personal touch, that human contact. And with
Yeah.
all these new technologies, do you think these technologies are going to enhance the personal touch, or eventually, as some people say, it is going to eliminate the personal touch completely?
Yeah, it won't eliminate the personal touch, obviously, because ultimately hospitality is a human to human connection. All this stuff is going to do is be an assistant. So it's going to help staff go a certain distance uh, that would have taken them a lot longer and with a lot more effort. Um, let's say 50, 60% further, faster, and still maintaining the personal relationship afterwards. Um, Basically, all this stuff does is go through a lot of information quickly and be able to help. So it's doing that for who? It's doing that for the hotel staff and for the hotel guests. That's all it's doing. The human connection, if the human connection gets lost, then it's no longer hospitality at all.
I completely agree. So the reason for asking the question was because you specialize in chatbots, and you yourself said that a couple of years ago you wouldn't have envisioned chatbots having any role inside the hotel. But now that
Mm,
has changed, especially in the US with the Gen Z. They would rather, have an app or texting rather than call the front desk or go to the front
yeah,
desk themselves. So do you
yeah.
think this will be like the prevalent method of communication in the future, like just chatting with the AI, or maybe AI can route to the front desk rather than picking up the phone and ordering room service or something like that?
Yeah, I don't think it'll be the preferred method. I think it will be one of the methods that are available. From a hotel perspective, the hotel wants to meet the guest where they are. If the Gen Zs want to chat, they have to be there to chat. If the, let's say, the silent generation wants to write, I don't know, letters, then you're going to have to do that. If the boomers are writing or making phone calls, you have to have that channel open. I think it would be um, at the loss of the hotel if they didn't meet their guests where they are, and that's all this is. It's just another channel with another tool for those who want to use it.
Traditionally, our industry has been very slow to adopt to new technologies. But
Mm.
in the recent years, we have seen a lot of new technologies in the market. So do you think that has changed finally for the hospitality, or still you see a lot of technology gaps in the hospitality industry?
No, obviously there's a lot of technology gaps. Our industry is still very slow in adopting these things. However, I will say that there are some technologies that are a lot easier to adopt and less invasive, less daunting and overwhelming. And frankly, chat capability is one of those that is very easy. It's a nice, easy way to get involved with AI without feeling like, oh, what is all this stuff? It's so simple and easy that it's one of the entryways into AI that any hotel can take very easily.
So we have talked about guest chat and other chatbots that are AI based or natural language based. Apart from that, what other applications do you see for AI or for that matter robotics in the industry?
So I'm a big believer in both the photo generation as well as the video generation. I I can already tell you that these things are changing the game when it comes to marketing for hotels. It's advanced because sometimes marketing teams in hotels, and even if it's not marketing teams, are going to have a little tougher time getting used to this generative AI that, you tell something and it's going to create for you the post with some photos or a video. It's a little bit more than most would expect, but it's very, very powerful and it can be very effective. So, yeah, I'm a big believer in both, and we're using both. So,
We have talking about the new technologies. So in the past, there were a lot of things that were good to have, but now they are a must. For example, very fast Wi-Fi. It's like a
yeah.
necessity for every hotel. So similarly, with new technologies, we have seen smart devices, smart rooms. So what other technologies do you think hotels need to get ready to provide to their guests as they might become a necessity in the future?
Mm. Good question. No, I mean, I don't think of anything that's, and again, I'm not that outward looking that I can tell that is like essential. Um, I think where we are, we're good. I mean, I would like to tell you, yes, chat technology is essential. I don't think it's essential. I just think you're going to lose some people if you don't have it available. You're going to lose guests and lose those channels of communication. But it's not essential. I mean, frankly, you could still answer the phone and answer emails if you like. But other things out there from a technology perspective, yeah, I've been looking at a lot of things. I think from a advertising and marketing perspective, I think it's very wise in the long run for marketing teams to consider TikTok. I think this is going to be a huge game changer for the hotel industry. But again, it's not a piece of technology, it's more like a platform that is going to be for this Gen Z generation.
You talked about TikTok. Another trend, I should say, we have witnessed in the last couple of years is the experience traveling. So rather than going to a booking.com or Expedia to check hotel reviews, people are going to social media to check influencers and their videos and
Yep,
then deciding for the hotels. How do hoteliers use this for their marketing or advertising strategy?
they don't. They don't use it at all. There are some very, very forward thinking, um, I think, savvy hoteliers. There are few that see the benefit of this, take advantage of it. Most of them are using travel influencers that come and visit the property and they promote it. But it's not very sophisticated. It's still very, very basic. Um, those type of platforms really don't exist for the hospitality industry, and they're not being exploited at all by hospitality.
Do you think this is where rentals and Airbnb and other alternate accommodations are taking lead? They're utilizing that and cutting into the hotel's market share.
Yeah, I have to admit that I'm not as well versed in that area. However, I feel that it's all balancing itself out. I think the vacation rental space has its own challenges, but you're right. I guess that because they're more independent in some ways, they are able to be more agile and be able to use that technology to their advantage. And but again, they got a lot of difficulties on their ends too.
You have talked about that AI, especially GuestChat, hasn't taken any jobs away. But on the
Mhm.
other hand, hospitality does have a staff shortage, especially skilled staff shortage problem. So how do
Yep.
you think we can use that? We can use technology to address that.
Well, that's exactly what we're doing. I mean, just think about it. You have a front desk staff. They are trying to check in a guest. They have a phone call on hold, and they have emails stacking up, right? Well, what's the phone call about? The phone call about is, hey, can you guys provide a crib for me or whatever it might be? And what are those 5 emails about? Hey, I'm coming in late. Will somebody be there? Well, I mean, this is what AI does, right? It This is what guest chat does. It removes that so that the call doesn't come in, the email is never sent, they get their answer instantly, and that staff is free to be able to handle what's right in front of them, and that's really important.
On that note, Nima, it was an absolute pleasure having you on our podcast. It was great to meet you finally, and I think it was a great conversation for us and for our audiences as well.
Thank you so much. It was a wonderful experience. I'm really glad that we were able to finally get it done.
Yes, Niman, once again, thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for watching us. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Share your thoughts in the comment box. Make sure to connect with us on our social media at Advanced Hospitality Technologies. See you with another guest. Till then, take care and goodbye.